The smiling faces. In the small town of Crestwood, where everyone knew each other and secrets were scarce, there was an old photography studio called Timeless Memories. The studio had been around for decades, owned by the same family, the Thompsons. The current owner, Alice Thompson, had inherited it from her grandfather, who was a renowned photographer in his time. The studio was filled with photographs from different eras, capturing the essence of the town and its people. But among these photos, there was a collection that Alice kept hidden in a locked drawer. These were the cursed photographs, a series of black and white portraits that her grandfather had taken long ago. The legend of the cursed photographs began in the 1940s when Alice's grandfather, Richard Thompson, was at the peak of his career. He was known for his ability to capture the true essence of a person in his portraits. One day, a mysterious woman named Evelyn walked into the studio, asking for a portrait. She was strikingly beautiful, but had an unsettling aura about her. Richard agreed to take her photo, and as he developed the film, he noticed something odd. Evelyn's eyes in the photograph seemed to follow him, and her smile grew wider each time he glanced at it. Unnerved, he placed the photo in a drawer and tried to forget about it. But strange things began to happen. Richard's clients reported feeling watched and experiencing bad luck after having their portraits taken. Some even claimed to see Evelyn's face in their photographs. Desperate to understand what was happening, Richard sought out a local historian who specialized in the occult. The historian told him that Evelyn was a witch who had been executed in the town centuries ago. Her spirit, vengeful and restless, had cursed the photograph to trap the souls of anyone whose picture was taken with the same camera. Fearing for his family's safety, Richard locked away the camera and the cursed photographs, vowing never to use them again. But the curse had already taken root. Over the years, the Thompsons experienced a series of misfortunes and tragedies, all seemingly connected to the photographs. Fast forward to the present day, Alice was aware of the curse but had never believed in it. She thought it was just an old family legend, a story to scare children. But one fateful day, while cleaning the studio, she accidentally knocked over the locked drawer, spilling its contents. Among the scattered photos was Evelyn's portrait, her eyes still hauntingly alive. Alice, curious and skeptical, decided to take a closer look. As she examined the photograph, she felt a chill run down her spine. Evelyn's eyes seemed to bore into her soul, and her smile widened, almost as if she were mocking Alice. Shaking off the feeling, Alice placed the photo back in the drawer and locked it. That night, Alice began having vivid nightmares of Evelyn. In her dreams, Evelyn would appear, her smile twisted and sinister, whispering ominous threats. Alice would wake up in a cold sweat, the feeling of being watched lingering. The nightmares grew more intense, and Alice started to notice odd occurrences in her daily life. Shadows moved on their own, whispers filled the empty studio, and clients began to cancel their appointments, claiming they felt uneasy in the studio. Desperate to end the torment, Alice decided to visit the historian who had helped her grandfather. The historian, now an old man, listened to Alice's story with a grave expression. He told her that the curse could only be lifted by destroying Evelyn's portrait and the camera that had taken it. Determined to break the curse, Alice returned to the studio late at night. She retrieved Evelyn's portrait and the old camera from the drawer. As she prepared to burn them, she heard a voice behind her. "You cannot escape me," Evelyn whispered, her voice echoing through the studio. Alice turned to find Evelyn standing there, her form translucent but menacing. Gathering her courage, Alice threw the photograph and camera into the fire. The flames roared to life, and Evelyn let out a blood-curdling scream, her image twisting and writhing in the fire before disappearing in a burst of light. The next morning, Alice woke up feeling lighter, the oppressive atmosphere in the studio gone. She cleaned up the ashes and resumed her work, the curse seemingly lifted. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still watching her. A few weeks later, while developing some old film, Alice found a photograph she didn't remember taking. It was a picture of her, standing in the studio, with Evelyn's ghostly figure lurking in the background, her eyes still following, her smile as sinister as ever. The curse was broken, but Evelyn's spirit remained, forever haunting the Thompsons and their studio, a reminder that some evils can never be truly destroyed. The legend of the cursed photographs lived on, a chilling tale passed down through generations, warning of the sinister power that can be captured in a simple smile.